Today, the people of Ashland are frustrated. Sure, the garbage crisis was barely resolved, but citizens are asking if the city took over all that land to build a waste management facility, why didn't they do it right? Why was the industrial zoning so limited, leaving citizens wondering why the city just didn't open up more space and create desperately needed jobs? The next problem is the housing shortage. With too few homes available, the cost of living is quickly rising, leaving many residents struggling to keep up. So today in Ashland, we're going to tackle these problems. We'll thoughtfully expand and detail a brand new industrial area, giving businesses some room to offer more jobs, and we'll also build a fresh, vibrant residential neighborhood, creating more homes to help keep Ashland affordable and growing. Starting with our industrial, we're going to build a little bit more right here, and eventually we'll make our way down there where we have a little bit of ore. And that can set up a really good supply chain for our businesses. So for the little industrial zone that we're going to be building today, I'm going to follow along this train right here. Now I've pre-graded it just a tiny bit. And from our stub, we'll add an alleyway. Then we'll add one right along the contours. We'll follow this along the grid tiles. We're going to turn on constant slope and ground level. We'll connect right in. Using the curved road tool, we'll make a nice sweeping connection. We're going to extend this road just a bit more. And then finally, connect right in. Okay, so this will serve as the foundation for our little industrial area. And because I want the buildings to front Strawberry Lane, I'm going to remove the zoning from the alleyway in the back. And I'm just trying to do a little bit more grading. It's easier to do it beforehand rather than fight with it after. And I'm looking at that road, that connection into our little stub, and I don't like it. It looks way too steep. It looks like you're going on a roller coaster. We'll delete it and we'll just redraw it in. 4.5% grade. It's rough, but it's fine. So I'm in Find It because I want something that'll blend well with our other industrial that we already have. I'm gonna go for lot depth and then just building level 1. And starting with our stub, I'll go with this one right here. I want to make sure there's rear access, but I really am not in love with this. I'm gonna revisit this down the line. Maybe I'll get rid of this before I click play, we'll see. I'm gonna go add in the other buildings down here. We'll add in an alleyway right here. Again, it'll be 4 lot depth. But now that I'm looking at this, I think it might have to be 3 because I still want space in the back and on the sides. The more I look at this, the more sense it makes just to delete this alleyway, make it more straight, give us a little bit more room, just a bit more room for detailing, maybe even some parking. Yeah, I really don't like this. I'm going to remove the alleyways for now. We'll see if there's some detailing we can do for that building, but I think right now we're just going to focus on these. Of course, we're going to add one more in. Now, for the life of me, I can't remember what the surface that I used for the last industrial area was, so I'm just going to go over here and just grab it. And of course, there's so many decals, it's almost impossible. So I'm going to use the filters to deselect everything except for the surfaces. Okay, so now on the industrial buildings, I want to delete all the fences, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to fix up some of the other surfaces as well. I don't want to see any gray or light gray concrete. I want this to feel custom and I want this to feel special, even though it's just industrial. Now, if I actually want to grab it, I'm going to have to move the concrete surface that we put down first. That way I can actually upgrade it or change it. And I like this one, so I'm going to use it. It'll be the secondary surface, probably under all of our buildings. Okay, now I'm just going to go through and add some industrial fencing in. It'll drive me crazy if the fences aren't the same colors, so I'm just going to take a light grayish color and apply them all to the same fence. And now I'll add our secondary surface to the alleyway road. Now it's time to add a bunch of stains. I want them all over the place. I want this to feel dirty and gross. And same thing with the roofs. And I love this so much. It reminds me of a place that I worked, although it's probably a bit more dirtier than real life, but I love it. Now, we're just gonna add some parking to Glade Lane because this is so far away from where all of our residents are that it just makes sense. Now I'm just gonna smooth out the terrain just a tiny bit because it looks really weird. So I'll level it first, then I'll smooth it, and hopefully we don't go too far. This makes me wish I added the parking before I added the fences because I fought with the fences to get them in. Okay, so I've added the fences and I've added a little bit more stains and dirt and grime and all that, and I think it's coming together really nice. So I've kind of went all in with the detailing here, and I'm going to continue to go all in. So I'm going to delete this building over here. That way I don't have to detail that one. And I know that's a cop-out, but whatever. Okay, I've added some containers. I've added just a few different props. This is something I'd love to know. Should I skip this and just explain what I've done instead? Or should I continue what I've been doing before where I just speed through the process? And our crime is still getting to us. So frustrating. And whoa, what's going on over here? There's a fire and we have an insane amount of traffic. Wow. I didn't think it'd be time to do this so soon, but I'm gonna convert just this first half into a 4-lane. And then I just removed the traffic lights and fixed some of the priority and removed all the unsafe pathways like the U-turns. I find those cause way too many traffic issues. It looks like it's starting to clear up, and where's the fire truck? I don't get it. Oh my god, no way, the fire truck was stuck in traffic. That's why I couldn't get to the burning houses or burning stores. That really, really sucks. Yeah, there he is. He's right there. I feel bad. What I think is really insane is the amount of people who just walk from the city to the highway and then walk all the way to the external connection. Listen, I would set up a free bus for you if I could, but unfortunately I can't because we don't have a single bus station yet. Something I want to add soon. Now, before I let myself get too distracted here, I'm going to finish up. And I always love putting cracks underneath containers just because it's like they've been there for that long, or they've been sitting there, or so many have been there that because of that, the ground is starting to crack. The weight is wrecking the ground. Okay, I've been detailing for 40 minutes now, but we're finally a big town. This is great. That gives us 200,000, 8 development points, and 10 expansion points. This is exactly what we needed because we had no money, and now we can actually do a few things before we end this episode. So we have our Mermaid's Tea Lounge. I love this. I think we're going to place it in soon, but not now. And 1.5 hours later, from start to finish, we are finally done. And I am so happy. I love the way this looks. This feels so real. It makes everything worth it seeing the end product. When you're at the start, you don't really know what's happening. You're like, is this going to turn out good? Am I going to waste all my time? And it can be stressful. But then when you finally get your end product and it's beautiful, you're happy. Now there's a few more things we want to do, especially for our residential and our new housing. I'm just going to check out our taxes before I do. So I'll increase garbage management just up a bit. And then I'll take a look at our healthcare. No, it's fine. Our fire, we'll do our police just a bit more. And everything else is pretty low. We adjusted it before so we wouldn't go bankrupt. We also increased our service fees for our water and electricity. We're going to reduce those back down to normal. And I think that is it. Just got done a bit of pre-grading, nothing crazy. You can see it kind of right here. We're going to turn on our constant slope, our level, and we're just going to set some roads in, and this will be the foundation for our new residential area. Now from this road, I'm going to come in right about here. I'm going to try and stay 6 units away from it. Then I'm going to use the complex curve tool and just make a nice sweeping connection in. In the middle of this road, I'm going to go straight and then just follow the contours around the bend. Something similar here, but really I just want to split the block in half. It doesn't need to be this long, but I don't want to grade the entire way through. I want some slopes. Then here, I just want to split the block length by about 16 units if I can, kind of our standard for Ashe County. And giving myself those little nubs helps a lot because they're essentially 16 units apart. It makes the blocks feel a little bit more natural and splits them apart somewhat evenly, although I wouldn't say it's overly even or even close to perfect. And this gives us a strong foundation for our residential, a little bit of commercial. It feels real, it follows the contours. I like it, and I think it's going to turn out really good. Before I zone, I'm just going to remove the zoning from this road. Okay, now speaking of zoning, we're going to go 2 to 3 units in terms of depth, and we're going to use the southwestern housing. So I'm going to zone this entire area up. And before I let myself forget, I'm going to run some paths, specifically one right here. It's going to be really important for connectivity, especially with some of these longer block lengths. And looking over here, I totally forgot to add some. This is an insanely long block, so connectivity to this outside road would be critical. At least, maybe not right now, but in the future. At the very least, you'd have a nice walk. Now I'm forgetting that we have an unemployment problem, so I'm going to add some of the southwestern commercial along these areas. Add a little bit more residential here. And whenever there's lots of wavy blocks, I always want to plop it manually. It saves my life in the hassle from going to move every single one and then adding more back in. So if I'm going to plop, I might as well just plop right away. Looking good, okay. Now there's a few places up here that's not looking so good. And I've also seen a place that needs a path. So I'm going to do a little bit of move it with all of these, adding that path, fixing any housing or zoning that needs to be added. There we go, now that is looking much better. Although you know what it's missing? More trees. With our money that we just got, we are an awful city when it comes to managing our budget, so we're going to spend way more on trees. And I just love those paths. They look so nice. They add so much connectivity to the city. We could even call this like a protected green space if we wanted to. Just something to really make sure that this space stays. I don't like when you build a city and everything's like back to back, right? Like there's no room for trees, there's no room for green space. It makes it feel so sterile. It makes it feel so wrong, and I hate it. So I love when there's space like this, because there's space like this right in the back of my house, although not even as close to as nice, and there's a bunch of construction there, but there is space. And with every new area, what do we need? Parks. I'd love to fit in one of these big parks, but I don't think they're going to fit. So I think we're probably just going to have to go with a large playground. And we could probably fit a dog park in there as well. Last but not least, every park needs trees and some nice green surfaces. Looking good. Now, the only thing I'm worried about is our unemployment. We did add a lot of people with this new area, so I think we'll add a little bit more commercial up here. Maybe even some along the bend as well. I'm not sure. I think we could definitely add some here at the very least. We can go to depth. So we'll get the buildings that don't have any parking. Do you have an idea for a name? Please comment it, share it, and I will change this. I don't like the name of Broad Gardens. It just sounds a bit odd. And listen, if I was going to name it, I would just end up naming it Ash Gardens, and eventually that naming scheme will get really tired. And there we go. I'm happy with how this turned out. I think we made a really strong industrial area, we made a really strong residential area, and we added to the city in a way that feels natural, it feels organic, and it feels real. So if you enjoyed, please feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and tell me what you want to see next.